What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo. We are back for another episode of the Hacksaw Hour. And of course, I could never do it without the man himself, WWE Hall of Famer, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Jim, what's going on, man?
Well, hello, Marcus. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing well. Probably not as good as you, though. You're down there in sunny Florida.
Down in beautiful Florida, Central Florida, actually. It's a little cool, but compared to the other parts of the country, it's gorgeous. I tell you, actually, I'm down here visiting our daughters. They both live down here. Rebecca and Celia both live down here. I was out in their backyard. I was picking grapefruit. A little early yet. This is not quite ripe, but they got a grapefruit tree, an avocado tree, a lemon tree. I mean, nothing like Central Florida. They even have pineapples. Who would think they'd have pineapples in Central Florida, right?
Unbelievable.
But we came down, of course, it was my birthday just on the 14th, and Rebecca's birthday was on the 12th. So Deborah and I, we came down and we surprised them. They didn't know we were coming down. We were pounding on the door at 8 at night. They were like hitting 911 yet. There's crazy people at our door. It's me and your mom. There's crazy people at our door.
So then they really got 911 on the
That's
board,
where they're
right?
really crazy, mom and dad. You're not kidding. But we surprised them, came down here, had a nice time, heading back to South Carolina soon. But yeah, really enjoyed coming down here to Florida.
Man,
We lived here for 20 years over in Titusville, and the girls were born in Florida, so they came right back.
They were drawn back. Man, what a hell of a week it is. 2 birthdays. You're getting to enjoy Florida. In the meantime, Jim, right before we hit record, I was out shoveling my driveway, about 3 inches of snow. So I'm jealous.
Yeah, that was my pop back in the day. He says, you go to the gym all the time, but you have trouble picking up a shovel. Hit that driveway. Like yes, sir, Pop.
That sounds like a dad, all right.
Yeah, that's what, like, that's with the different kind of cross training they call it now. When you're out there shoveling, it's not shoveling, you're cross training.
There you go. And see, I'm going to start using these buzzwords, Jim.
And coming up in Indianapolis, we're going to have the WrestleCon up there, and I'll be up in Indianapolis, of course. They do just like at WrestleMania. They have a WrestleCon. They were going to do that up in Indianapolis. So a lot of folks will come up there. I think, what is this, the 38th year?
I believe so, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
You know my joke, I say Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan still call me kid. And Jake the Snake Roberts says he's younger, but I want to see a birth certificate. Do you ever wonder about that, brother? Oh, yeah, I'm 40.
I don't buy it from the Snake.
Yeah, no, good buddy, Jake.
Oh, dude, I love Jake.
And how about this setup? We're down here in Florida that we do, like the girls, they wanted to make sure this was all right because we're not at the Hornsby Studios up there in Lugoff, South Carolina. The prestigious Hornsby Studios. You might have heard of them before.
Oh, of course. Jim, we got the flag.
But we had to get it. I said, well, they got them all white. I said, you got to give me a little color, guy. So couldn't feel better with a flag, man.
We got the flag, a button-up shirt on Hacksaw.
God bless America. Yes, I got my Jimmy Buffett shirt on. Might have a few pina coladas.
All right.
They'd have to be virgin nowadays. Are you kidding? I did something with alcohol. They're like, stay away from the light, Hacksaw. Is that macho? And I had to tell you, let the hair down. Deborah's like, get a hair bow. I got a hair bow, honey. But, I always got my hair in a ponytail. Of course, you see Hogan, he's always got his hair in a bandana.
I wonder why that is.
Well, I don't know, And I'm not sure that's really his hair in a bandana. It's like those hats.
I'm thinking so. You pull that thing off.
That's why I like to see Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid nowadays. His eye kicks off, worse than me, little short guy. I'm like, come here, Shawn. Let's get a picture, buddy. Come on.
You're the dreamboat of the two nowadays, Jim.
Pardon?
I said you're the dreamboat of the two nowadays.
Well, geez, I don't want to say nothing. That Old Spice works wonders, I'll tell you.
Hair's looking good.
They usually go, that's what my granddad wore.
Old Spice, really?
Thanks, young lady. Nice to meet you.
Well, Jim, we mentioned the Royal Rumble, and that's what we're talking about here this week.
We got to go to work. Holy are you kidding? I got another story. Wait a minute.
There's only one 35-year anniversary of the 1990 Royal Rumble, and we're talking about it here today. Before we do, though, Jim, there are a couple things that have been going on in wrestling that I wanted to talk to you about. This episode is going to be coming out a week from today, but right now it's the 16th. And as of today, I just learned earlier today, Jim, that unfortunately Bob Uecker passed away. And he did a lot of work with the WWF. I was wondering if you spent any time around Bob.
No, not really. No, but I knew who he was, and he came in, and yeah, of course, I had just came in at WrestleMania 3, so I didn't have much interaction with the guy at all. But of course, he was a legend, and I didn't know he had passed. So, God bless.
Yeah, unfortunate.
And he did a good job, and that's when wrestling started to get legit. He had Sidney Lauper, the Rock and Wrestling whole connection. Him coming in, Vanna White.
Yeah,
I think was part of that group that came in, Aretha Franklin, and that started to bring wrestling more mainstream. So he was a big part of bringing wrestling to the masses, as they say.
He certainly was. God bless him, and also God bless Black Bart. Black Bart recently passed away.
God bless Black. I like Black Bart, man. He was. I didn't realize he was older than me, but Black Bart. Jeez, I didn't realize that, but he was a kind of a mid-card guy his whole career. But was a strong mid-card guy, never got a big push or nothing, was a solid worker. I mean, and a good guy in the dressing room.
I've heard
there's a guy, a lot of people don't know who he is, they haven't heard of him, but made a nice career out of wrestling. Not one of those all black part, the Marty Jannetty horror stories, or one of those guys that DDP's got to pull up from the gutter. Black Bart lived a nice life, and, sorry to see him go.
Good man by all accounts too. Helped out a lot of
young guys. Yeah, he's a good guy in the dressing room. Yeah, Where I can find that in the dressing room.
It's like a pirate ship in that place.
It's not a locker room; it's a dressing room.
That's right.
How's my hair?
You got like the lights and the makeup and all that, right?
I tell you, the biggest competition on the babyface side is for mirror space.
Well,
I need more oil on my back for me.
Jim, that's a question that gets asked a lot, and I've just never gotten
I don't do it. No, I don't oil backs.
I was gonna say, how were you getting your back oiled back in the day? What were you doing?
I'm not an oil guy. Well, a little while, yeah. You put a little on my shoulders and arms. It did glisten, and I got I was in shape for a little bit there. So yeah, I was 280, and I was pushing 500, and so yeah, I put a little oil on. But some guy, that hot stuff was horrible. Guys who put that hot stuff on, it would definitely do something to your corpuscles or something. But a lot of guys, they don't. They quit I think they almost banned that. But Andre didn't like oil at all. I mean, so I definitely didn't oil it. Matter of fact, Macho, there's that famous story. We're in the dressing room and Macho's greasing up a little bit, and Andre's playing cards. And he's talking to Arnie Skolin. We're sitting there with Arnie, and he goes, I don't like oil. And Macho's over the other side of the dressing room, He takes the oil, goes over, drops it in the trash can.
Probably the safest bet.
Yeah. That's one thing the Warrior did, man, and I give the guy credit. When he was working with Giant, he would bring Andre a big, expensive bottle of cognac.
Really?
Yeah. It was a cool move, and it's probably why he survived it.
Wow, gesture of respect there from Warrior.
Yes, it really was. It was smart. I wish I had thought of it, tell you the truth. I wish I had thought of it. Oh, breaking news. We got breaking news. Stop the presses. Stop the presses.
What do we have here?
Holy smokes, this just came in. Breaking news. Hacksaw is on his way to Europe.
Boom.
Oh,
all right.
That's right, brother. I tell you, we're heading over to Germany on March 15th with the Hard Knocks event with Deutsche Wrestling Alliance, the DWA, on March 15th. That's going to start our tour to Europe. Deborah and I are going to fly into Germany. We stop over in London, change planes, boom, hit Germany, and we're going to do this show with the Hard Knocks event with the DWA. But then we're going to fly back to the UK and meet up with our daughters. Our daughter's flying into Scotland, and we're working with Inside the Ropes, who brings a lot of guys over. I think they brought Teddy over. But anyway, I'm working with those guys, and I'm going to be doing my stand-up show.
All
And
right.
that's going to be March 18th in Glasgow, Scotland, March 19th in Manchester, England, and the 20th, I'm going to be in London and be doing my stand-up show. And it's a fun look at wrestling. You know, I've seen some of these other podcasts, and I've seen some of the guys talking about wrestling. They're like down on everything. Holy shit. But it's been a great business for me. All my shows are family friendly. You can bring your kids. I'm not going to be up there saying 4-letter words and stuff. So I'm looking forward to going to the UK. And it's been a long time since I've been to Germany. And we'll be doing that too. So in March, we're going to be heading overseas, brother.
Man,
Give me a ho on that, Marcus. Ho! I don't want to say nothing at the start of the show. I gave you a big hello, and you didn't say nothing.
Oh,
Not that I'm
no.
going to hold it against you. I didn't get a ho out of you, brother.
Oh, no. I'll
You
give
know,
you
I
a hoe
got
at the end.
feelings too.
I'll give you a hoe at the end, too. I'll double up on
Hey,
these hoes.
hey, my wife's here.
But man, Hacksaw coming over there to Europe and the UK. Man, I know that I've seen a lot of fans online asking, when is Jim coming back over? Need to see Jim overseas. You got so many fans over there. Folks, don't miss your opportunity to see Jim in the UK and in Germany. Make sure you take advantage of this one, guys.
We're going to bring over 2x4s.
Sign
American
2x4.
2x4s, because you know, over in Europe, it's all metric. So the 2x4s are bigger. And that's why when in the old days I had to bring my own 2x4 when I went to Europe.
So you're
So
gonna
my father-in-law, God bless him, Billy, made me a beautiful 2x4 case. But that's a whole nother story. Bringing my 2x4 into Europe.
so you're gonna be going over there with a whole bag just filled with 2x4s.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
All right. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
oh yeah.
something.
I do that in the country, you know, because you know we used to get to the town wherever we flew into and go to the Lowe's or Home Depot and get some 2x4s, get them cut up for the folks. But Deborah's like, wait a minute, if we keep it under 50 pounds, so we put a bunch of 2x4s in a piece of luggage, check it, you know. So I'm waiting one day somebody will steal it, right? Oh, it's big and heavy, it's great. Get home and open it up, a bunch of 1 foot 2x4s.
What the hell is this?
What the? We're going through customs again. They'll be like, what the hell?
Anybody ever say
Big,
anything
what do
to
they call
you?
that Jenga game, right?
Uh-huh. Anybody ever say anything to you when they're doing that bag check thing and like scanning it? Like, why do you have all these 2x4s?
Well, I don't know. They was telling you Deborah's dad made me that 2x4 case, right? So we're flying overseas, and we've been flying. It's been like working all week, and we're flying into Italy. And I'm like, just happened to be the first one off the plane, and I got my 2x4 case, and the guy he pulls my 2x4 out of the case, you know, and he's rapping on the board. He doesn't know who I am, you know. And he goes, what do you do with board? And I'm drunk, you know. I've been on a plane hitting a mini bottle. I'm like, I'm building a house over here piece by piece. He said, sit over there.
Oh no.
After 3 hours, I'm sitting in the corner going, I'm very, very, very sorry. But then the bad deal was I get on the bus. Everybody had to wait for me.
Oh.
I'm sitting in security. All the boys are on the bus when they get to the hotel. I get on the bus. They're all like, "Duncan, Jesus Christ!" So, the moral of that story: don't joke with security, customs.
Don't
No.
smart off with customs. Ah, man. Well, it's a funny joke though, kind of worth it. So it makes for a good story.
Oh, yeah, thanks, brother. I could have thought about that when I got on the bus, and even Andre was mad at me. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, that's not one you
I
want
sat
mad
in the back of the bus, you know.
at. Well, we can jump into these notes, man. There's a lot going on in this period, January 1990, the end of 1989. So we'll start here. After a short run as the Widowmaker, Barry Windham is going to stop showing up for the WWF. He just stops coming to work, and it's going to end his run here at the end of 1989. A lot of people say it's either money or creative that put a stop to it, but according to Barry himself, he said it had to do with the counterfeiting scandal that his family was dealing with at the time. Jim, do you remember anything about this counterfeiting scandal? So
Nope,
apparently,
I didn't run with Barry. Didn't have much to do with him. I didn't really know he came and went. Tell you the truth, I I know I wrestled him with both companies and everything, but yeah, what he was doing, I didn't have a clue. Yeah.
he himself wasn't
And like
counterfeiting.
I said, I wish I was more involved. Back then, to me and Steve Williams or me and Terry Gordy or Stan Hansen go out partying. Should have been a little more business oriented.
Well, apparently Blackjack Mulligan and Kendall Windham were making phony $20 bills, and they got busted. Spent a couple of years in federal prison.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, nowadays you can confirm that stuff because there's always all kinds of rumors, but I'm sure nowadays you can look that up. But
yeah,
I wouldn't put nothing past anybody, man.
Well, Barry, I mean,
it's not a real smart move, though. That's a federal deal. If you're going to rob or steal or cheat, don't do it federally.
No, it's man, they both. I mean, that's not easy time to be doing federal prison.
No.
And it's gosh, just
for $20 bills. I mean, at least be doing it for hundreds. I mean,
yeah, really. They probably thought they'd fly into the radar.
Yeah.
Oh,
I stole a whole bag full of dimes.
And end up in prison for that. Good Lord.
I didn't hear nothing about it. But what a big, huge, imposing family, though. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, really talented family. And Barry, it's, he was saying that during this period, he was in the best shape of his life. He was as big and muscular as he's ever been. I don't know, Jim, he's here as the Widowmaker in the WWF. Did you feel like he could have been more with Vince, or was he just not cut out for the territory, in your opinion?
I don't really like the gimmick, tell you the truth, Widowmaker. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows what it takes to stay up there. I mean, it's the WWF. It's the best in the world. It's the most competitive place in the world. And it's not like, the NFL, where if you run a 4.40 and bench press 500 pounds and have a 36-inch vertical, you got a pretty good chance of playing. There's no set category or critique that guys have to fill to make it in wrestling. Some guys are great athletes. Some guys are horrible athletes. I mean, and what it takes to make it, who knows? That's why I always tell kids to take the shot, because I say that Daniel Bryan. When I saw Daniel Bryan come out, little short guy, I'm like, not a chance in hell. This guy had the drive, the desire, the work ethic, and became a huge, became a huge star. So anytime kids come up, they say, hey, I'd like to be a wrestler. And look, well, take your shot, young guy, because you never know. If you're in the right spot, right time, right gimmick, boom, you're off to the moon. But you got a better chance of playing in the NBA, where there's 500 NBA basketball players instead of 50 WWE wrestlers. It's television. It's more competitive than sports. And it's just not kids from America. You got kids from Japan, Australia, Europe. Very competitive business. So the guys that are up there are great. And Windham, to look at him, Barry, you had to look at him, you'd think, holy, he's got everything you need. But for some reason, they let him go. I don't know. I think if he was drawing money, I don't think what his dad did would affect it.
I think that's a really good point. If he had been main eventing with Hogan or something, I don't think he would have been going anywhere.
Right, yeah. If he was making John money, I mean, he brought me back after the Sheik deal because, I could, bring people in and if not, I'd never been back.
Well, Pez Whatley is going to be making his debut with the WWF at the start of 1990, and his first match with the company is against you on Wrestling Challenge, January 3rd, 1990. Pez is going to lose to you here, and he's just going to go on to be an enhancement guy with the WWF for a couple of years. Jim, any memories of Pistol Pez?
Pistol Pez, yeah, I got along with him. I worked with him down in Mid-South, and for him to come up, and he was a good mid-card guy, and he embraced it. As we talked before, he wasn't ticked off that he had to do a job for me. He went out there and he did the best job that he could for me. He'd take the best bump he could. He wouldn't take a half-ass bump. When I finally hit him with my finish, he sold it good, not just after the 1, 2, 3. When I first started, I'd get beat 1, 2, 3, I'd jump right up.
I bet that got you some heat.
Everybody hated me. Are you kidding? I'm dugging out of football. I knew nothing. Right? Yeah, I could have really beat him, But Pistol Pez would lay there and sell it. He did a good job for you. So he was appreciated too. Everybody enjoyed working with him because he put you over so well.
Yeah, it's and he's a pretty big name in the territories. He would even in 2021 he became a
He's a good
WWE Hall of
worker. He was
Famer.
a good.
Yeah.
He was a good worker, man. He really was. He
That
just wasn't a very big guy though. Especially when you had, I think, JYD up there then too. And they were doing and Dog was a big imposing guy. Was Dog there then?
Dog had left like a year or so prior, but I see your point.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's that. It was actually going to be tied into my next question. Like I was going to say, it's because he was such a big name in the territories. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. He's a really well known wrestler at the time. I was a little shocked to find that he didn't really get much of a run here in the WWF. But to your point, Vince didn't like small guys at the time, right?
Well, Sean. There were small guys there, but in general, the guys were much bigger. And I think I bet if you added up the weight of the roster back then, the weight of the roster now, it'd be a huge difference. Because back then it was an arena show, so everybody come to the arena and you'd be sitting in your seats, and Nikolai Volkov would walk by and you'd be going, "Oh, he's a really big guy," Nowadays it's a television show. And they like the flying around. The pendulum will sing back to big guys, but now they like flying around. A different show.
You make a really good point, and that's something I've never heard anybody articulate before, Jim. That it was primarily an arena business back then. So the people in person wanted to see these big, massive guys. When you see somebody on TV, you can't tell if they're 5'10" or 6'4" half the time.
Right, yeah, and it was different because back then they would be saying it's Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik, Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Jake the Snake Roberts. Now it's the WWE coming to town. Yeah, and then it was star driven. Now the company is so big, it's Barnum and Bailey coming to town.
Yes,
it's not like the animal trainer Joe, the tiger trainer Bob.
Right.
It's just, but not back then. It was they really made a difference who was on the card. If you were on the card with Hogan on top, right, boom.
Man, interesting perspective, Jim. Yeah, again, I've never heard that articulated.
SMU, brother.
That's it. You put on one of those button-up shirts, all of a sudden you're out here just dropping this knowledge.
And it's a tropical shirt, You bet I picked that out, right, honey? Yeah.
She knows. Well, outside the WWF at the time, some territories are starting to close their doors in the wake of what Vince McMahon is up to. The Continental Wrestling Federation and Stampede are both gone. They're going to go defunct at the end of '89. Jerry Jarrett's territories, the CWA and USWA, are going to merge, and the AWA is on the ropes. They're going to be out of business in like a year or so. On one hand, the company that you work for is kicking some ass and you're kind of the beneficiary of the success, which is great. But Jim, on the other hand, nobody's running the WWF last forever. And now the amount of alternatives are starting to diminish. Did the disappearing territories concern you at all during this time, Jim?
Yeah, it did. I think everybody realized what's going on. The WWE, like I said, putting the other small companies out of business was great for a few guys. But a whole lot of wrestlers who were making a living working these different territories are out of business. They're dried up. Guys that worked the Georgia territory, Mid-South, guys that weren't picked up by WWE or F, they were done wrestling. Where the smaller territories, a lot of guys made a lot of money and survived, fed their families, and thrived working the territories. Mm-hmm. And that was the end of a time, and it's gone. And a lot of people miss that. I mean, you can go to Hacksaw Duggan highlights and see that studio wrestling where the people, they believe it so much, man, and they're almost hitting the ring with you. And I mean, it was different, and you do the show 2 weeks from now. I'll be back and finish the angle with DiBiase. He broke my windshield, the son of a gun. I mean, it was and I think it was a great time in the business. It really was. It was fun to be there, but it was also great to see the evolution of wrestling.
Mhm.
When I started, it was high school gyms and National Guard armories, and all of a sudden, I'm in the Pontiac Silverdome with 93,000 people.
Unbelievable.
You're like, holy smokes! Then going to Royal Albert Hall and Wembley Stadium, traveling the world to professional wrestling. I mean, it's been a great business for me. And I'm really tired of hearing all the negative shit about everybody griping. I didn't get a pension. I didn't get insurance. I got screwed by Vince and this and that. Yes, okay, yes. But you knew that going in, brother.
Yep.
Holy shit. It's not like after 40 years I'm going, I don't get pension. Thank God for me and having Deborah. She
Mhm.
saved our money. I was never one of those big money guys, the Bret Hart $1 million contracts, nothing like that. But I worked steady and saved my bread. Put my two daughters through school, never had to go to rehab. It's been a great business for me. And all you ever hear is dark side of the ring and this guy's OD'd. I mean, I get tired of that sometimes.
I don't blame you. It's frustrating to hear it because again, it's something that even us as fans, we grew up loving and admiring and stuff, and then it's like I don't necessarily want to hear the bad side of things. I want to hear.
Yeah, and Chiefs, listen, most of the podcasts are like, yeah, son of a, that dirty son of a bitch. Was it that bad of a business for you, brother? Holy shit.
No.
Holy smokes.
And to
I
your
don't
point,
get it.
Jim,
But,
everybody signed the same contract when you went to the WWF. At that time,
well,
you had
no, there was some different money
uh,
in those contracts, brother.
Hogan had a different one, I'm sure, but most guys coming in the door at the time, you signed a contract that guaranteed you 10 dates at $150 a date. So for those of you who are bad at math, that's $1,500 downside guarantee. That's it. That's all you're guaranteed. Now, of course, Vince was going to pay you more on the house shows and whatnot, but he didn't have to. Everybody willingly signed that contract. So to your point, it's like you
Well,
can't really quit.
that's very cool you're saying that, 'cause I didn't know about that. When we were working, we didn't have a contract.
No
We had no
contract.
contract. No. We
Wow.
didn't have contracts. The TNA started. WCW. That's why so many guys jump ship, because they give you a no cut contract,
Mm,
or you work for Vince with no contract at all. You work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. So you work through injuries, you work through pain. I mean, because you didn't want to miss the payday.
so
But
you could have left
Turner,
it.
WCW, yeah, they all in the early WWF days. Yeah, there was no contracts.
So you could have left at any point during that
You're
period
gonna
if you
left, or
never
they
got
could
off.
have fired you at any point or paid you, like you said, at any amount.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
wild.
It was not fair. No, of course not. And yeah, Vince was horrible, and he should have treated us better, and he screwed us. He's a horrible person. And at 71 years old, I travel the world signing autographs, taking pictures with picture because of what he did.
Yep. There's
Yeah,
still action
so
figures
a
being made
real
of Jim
catch
Duggan.
22. Yeah, I say, well, Vince, yeah, I should, especially now you look at the kids, making $1 million for, every whatever, and there's
Hmm.
enough money to maybe throw a few bones to the old timers, but that'll never happen. But still, it's I live a comfortable life because of working for Vince McMahon.
Yep. About to hit Germany and the UK as a
Yeah,
result of what
you
you
ready
did.
to go overseas, bringing my family with me to the UK. I mean, it's yeah, like I said before, and it's unbelievable the appeal of wrestling around the world. But thank
All these
goodness, man. I mean,
all these years later, it's impressive, man. Really cool. And yeah, it's Vince
especially
did.
the old timers. Yeah, who would think? Of course, Hogan, like I said, gets booed. But you look, there's just a small Jake, Ted DiBiase, Luke. That's why anytime we see each other, it's like, Luke, brother, Jake, let me check your pulse.
And as a result of the work that you did all those years ago, you were just on Good Morning Football, right? During one of
Oh
their
yeah, yeah.
segments. where
Well,
they
that
had
was, that
pictures.
was my character. I wasn't, nothing fancy Dan about Hacksaw Jim Duggan, just a 2x4 and the flag of the United States of America. I didn't like fireworks and flashy feathered boas and sequin robes. And I think that's why it resonates to this day. I mean, so many people come up to me, they say, Hacksaw, I was walking around at home, I picked up a 2x4. I had to go, ho!
And look, as a kid, it's like I didn't care what moves guys were doing or what the finish was or anything like that. I liked characters. Like that's my favorite guy because he's an exciting character. He gets me excited every time he comes
Well, that's
out.
the people that Hacksaw. What was your favorite move? Did I kick and punch? What are you talking about? What's my favorite move? I carry a 2x4. Talk to Brett and Sean and those guys about Ricky the Dragon about wrestling. Talk
That's
to me
right.
about kicking somebody's ass.
That's right.
Sorry,
Oh, I
brother.
told you I get.
I wanted to do it out in the pool area, but my daughter's like, no, Dad, no, we'll do it in the house.
She didn't want you out
Years
there
ago, we
shouting.
were in Florida. I would have to do morning radio and stuff, and I'd be out in the pool area. Oh, I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna choke you. I'm gonna beat you. And the neighbors will be going, no, 911. Something's going on next door.
The neighbor's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. I did kind of panic the neighborhood when I first moved in, but
I'm sure.
but then they got used to me. They're like, that's Hacksaw.
Yeah, it's just Jim.
Yeah.
Well, you'll continue working with Savage on the way to the Rumble. You'll do a match at Saturday night's main event, and that's going to be the blow off for the rivalry. Saturday night's main event. Jim, were you one to ever really care about how long something lasted or whatever? Did you feel like there was more tread on the tires, or were you like, yeah, just
Yeah,
whatever?
well, I knew, but working with Macho, I was making money. Yeah, I would like to definitely work more with Macho. But by that time, my character was getting a little silly, and it's getting the tongue out and stuff. But so I took it as far as it would go. But of course, they always have the final say. But yeah, and I enjoyed working with Mach and Sherry. Liz and Deborah got along good. So yeah, we had a good match up there for a while, and very seldom you're going to find somebody go, yeah, oh yeah, that was as far as we could gone with it. I'm like, no, we're going to squeeze a little more off. There's some more in the tube.
Yeah.
But I had a good run with Macho and took it as far as it went.
Well, next up, you're set to face the Big Boss Man at the Royal Rumble, and again, it's a cold match. The two of you didn't work a single house show on the way to this. There's no build-up really. It's just kind of out of left field. You and Boss Man. And what's interesting too is that before the Rumble, Boss Man is actually going to turn babyface at a TV taping for footage that wouldn't air until after the Rumble. So the live crowd sees him now as a good guy, where the pay-per-view and television audience still view him as a bad guy. So it's kind of interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jim, what did you make of the big nasty heel like Boss Man turning babyface? Kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah, especially that character, right? And he was a great heel to work with. I enjoyed working with Bossman a lot because, like I said, he was a big, strong guy.
Yeah,
And it's always easier, at least it was for me, always easier to work with a bigger heel than a small heel. So he was a believable guy to work with. And yeah, him switching babyface, of course, that meant there was another babyface to take my spot too. So
think about that part.
yeah, you got to look at it as business. I mean, how many tough guy baby faces you want?
Yeah,
And he was a tough guy baby face.
a guy,
Yeah,
and
I
he
was
can move.
concerned about that, but I'm not too much. I always felt I could get my character over with whatever. I always give me my TV time. Put me in a janitor suit. Put me in a Team Canada suit. Whatever you want. Give me my TV time, and I'll get Hacksaw over.
We've got a good moment that I think encapsulates that. It's going to be our only clip coming up here in just a few minutes. But you said it. Well, let's go ahead and get to the Rumble. It's a sellout in Orlando. 16,000 fans turn out for the big show. I know that you weren't in the Rumble this year, but I'm curious. The Rumble itself. What do you think of the whole concept, Jim? Do you think
I think in Orlando, was that at the Citrus Bowl?
Oh gosh, what is the venue down there? I don't have it in my notes, unfortunately.
But if it is, because I did the pre-show. What year was that?
This was 1990, and I don't think you were on the pre-show. I think
No,
it
no,
was
no,
just
no,
when
no.
Bossman.
Sorry, I'm
That's
talking
okay.
about when Kali was there.
Oh, yes. Okay, that would have
That might
been
have been WrestleMania. That was probably WrestleMania at the Century.
okay. But yeah, man, it's the business is hot. You guys are selling out big arenas and stuff, so things are going well. You're a Royal Rumble guy. I think a lot of people associate you with it after winning the first one. You weren't in this one. Overall, what do you think of the concept of the Rumble, Jim? Is it? Do you think it's like something good, or I know that most guys don't like battle royals.
Yeah, because you can get hurt easy in a battle royal. But the
Yeah.
thing is, the Royal Rumble, very seldom they have that many guys in there at one time compared to a battle royal. When you start off with 30 guys in the ring already, starting off in there, very seldom there's more than a dozen guys in the ring at one time in a Royal Rumble. So I think the guys like the Rumble, more. That's I would think, yeah. And of course, obviously, I love it.
Well, before we talk about this one 35 years ago, there is an internet rumor that's been floating around a little bit about you, Jim. A lot of folks are saying that you're going to be at this year's Royal Rumble in Indianapolis. I didn't discuss this with you beforehand, so I can cut this out if we need to. Are you going to be making an appearance? Are you doing a run-in at the Rumble?
Well, I actually got my boots and trunks all packed and everything, and I figure I'll start off as number 12 on the way down. I'll be number 18 by the time I get to the ring. Yeah, no, I don't think I haven't heard anything, but I thought they would have brought me in all these years, every year I thought they would have brought me in, and
Yeah.
Look at this, he's still around.
See, one of them made it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, that was a shot, brother.
Sorry, man. Sorry, man. I have to get my digs in when I can. When you're at a safe distance.
But I hope, any rub with the company is great, and I've never blasted the company. Like I said, Vince could have been better, but the business has been great to me, and never say never, man.
We know you're going to
get a hold of me. I'm an easy guy to find. You're like, how can we get a hold of Hacksaw?
We know you're going to be in Indianapolis, so folks,
I'll be in Indy. Yeah, I will be at WrestleCon. So
you just never know, gang.
You never know.
Well, let's get to your part of things. You're going to defeat the Bossman by DQ.
Which I'd like to point out one thing real quick. Me and Sean are the only two guys ever to appear in 3 decades of Royal Rumble.
Whoa, how about that?
Yeah, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s.
How about that?
Yeah.
See, so if you do come out for this year's Royal Rumble, then
yeah, if I do come out, I'll be like Flair. They'll come out with the shock machine behind me. Flair's having a casket match.
Jim, $1 million on the line. Let's say $2 million on the line. Do you think you could safely get shit canned out of the ring if you had to?
To what? If I could get to the ring? Oh shit, yeah. That's what I did. I told the kids when I was 60 plus. I was still doing indie shows, and people are like, Hacksaw, you still wrestle? And well, I still go to the ring. I wouldn't call it wrestling, but at 60 plus, I could still entertain a crowd. It's more than taking bumps, brother. You go out there, you entertain the crowd, you give them a show, you get the place up going, and USA, and you let the undercards take the bump, tough guy.
All right, boy. If the WWE hears this and don't make you an entrant in the Rumble, or at least bring you on, they are fools.
I don't know their insurance company would let them.
Maybe not actually in the Rumble, but they should have you ringside. Damn it.
I don't know. Have a good time with the company, and it's always neat. I tell you what, no matter what, when you go back, all the TV trucks, all the limousines, all the buses, the hustle and bustle. Live television or pay-per-view, even this other smaller companies, it's exciting to be around the hubbub.
Well, Jim, let's get to your part of things there at the Rumble. You're going to defeat the Bossman by DQ, and we have the.
No wonder I beat him by DQ.
Well, Hacksaw still gets a big moment at the end of all of this, and it's a pretty fun one. Let's have a look at the final moments here after the match. Good throw, Jim.
That was a pretty good throw with my 2x4. Oh, good bump, Bossman. He's an athletic son of a gun.
That was good.
Who's that, Slick?
He got Slick now.
Hall of Fame for Slick.
Yes.
Ooh, I laid that in. Holy shit. We got him cooking, brother.
Yes, you
Let
do.
somebody else do a flying suplex.
Listen to the crowd.
Uh-oh. We'll miss that one. Sit down, Duggan. There you go.
What a moment.
I beat Bossman's ass.
So the DQ victory and then like the big moment at the end, it's man, just it's like going to school on how to get over watching that.
Yeah, that was a good match. That's for thanks.
Who threw that?
I had Bossman. I grabbed him like this. I hit him and I hit him and I hit him and I picked him up and I slammed him like that. Oh!
Now, Jim, if your listeners want to do that to one of those dolls, I'm sorry, action figures.
Brother, neither, brother. They're wrestling buddies, kid.
Oh,
get your terminology right, young man. Start off without a hole. Now you don't have my terminology down.
No, oh no. Well, here I'll put it over though. Where can they get it, Jim?
HacksawJimDugganShop.com.
That's the place. Not only do
we got the. Of course, I showed you the 2x4s. They seem to be our best seller. Folks get the, and if you get them for a present, folks never guess what's in them. You know, you feel like the inspector over in Italy. But man. Yeah, Hacksaw Jim, and thanks to all the folks that go there. We've been doing a lot of 8x10s and cards, all kinds of stuff, and folks that also go to Cameo. Thank you very much, man. We do a lot of cameos, and thanks to you, Marcus, you get all that done for us.
Oh man, I'm happy to.
Even though Jake knocks you all the time, brother.
That damn snake. See, I knew he was talking. But hey, guys, not only does Jim, it doesn't just come personally from Jim. He'll sign it and personalize those things for you too. So
always my pleasure, man.
Man, what a great addition to your wrestling collection. Go out of your way to hit HacksawJimDugganShop.com. Jim, we're gonna wrap this one up. Before we do, though, not sure a lot of fans know this, but you worked with Bossman in his final ever match less than a month before his untimely passing back in 2004. This match took place in Japan. Jim, were you aware of the fact that you had his final match ever, and what do you remember about working with him?
Yeah, I sure do. And actually, I went over, I brought Deborah. Deborah was my manager, Diamond Deborah, back in the day. And it was a tournament. And it was like a 3-day tournament over in Tokyo, Tokyo Dome, whatever the building was. Anyways, the last day of the tournament, it's me and Big Bossman in the finals. We're having a hell of a match. I don't know if it was double juice, maybe even. Bing, bang, boom. Finally, we have a big double knockout. As we go down, Bossman hits the referee. Boom. Now we're down. I'm down. Bossman's down. Referee's down. Place is going crazy. Bossman sits up first. He looks over. He sees my 2x4. He grabs my 2x4. He comes to hit me with a 2x4. Deborah rolls in behind him, grabs the 2x4 from behind. Bossman turns around. Ah! Deborah's like, ah! She bails out of the ring. Bossman turns back around. 3-point stance. Boom! 1, 2, 3.
That's a good
finish. I beat Bossman at the finals over in Tokyo, man. I sure did. And that was his last ever match. God bless him. You know, I knew Bossman pretty well, and we had a good trip. That was a lot of fun over there in Japan. You get to know guys when you go to Japan. You spend a lot of time together. But he was struggling with drugs then. He really was struggling hard with drugs bad. He took some big bar Xanax on the train to the airport. I mean, those things knock you out. You take those when you get on the plane for a 10-hour flight.
Wow.
Bossman took one just on the train ride to the airport.
Running a little bit
You
too
don't
hard.
take a cab to the airport in Tokyo. You got to take a train. But yeah, Bossman was struggling with drugs then. But God bless him, man. All four of those guys, Rude, Von Erich, Kurt, and Bossman, all four of them were very, very close friends, man. And all four of them struggled with that stuff.
He shared some bad habits, and it's a shame, man, because honestly, I think the argument could be made that Bossman's one of the best big men ever. He's very athletic for his size, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just that bump he took on that clip when I hit him. Yeah, with a double. I wouldn't do that. No. I do the boom, one arm and down, put my hand on the apron and flip over that way. That was a pretty athletic move.
Well,
for a big man, yeah.
Morbid, but it's nice that you got to have your kind of a final moment with him in the ring like that.
Yeah, and that whole tour we were together, man. Actually, Deborah and I, we got a picture of me and Bossman on an off day. It was pouring rain, and they have the vending machines, the beer Sapporo beer vending machines, and we're sitting in some hallway drinking the beer, these Sapporo beers in a thunderstorm. One of the last pictures of Bossman, yeah.
Wow, I think I might have seen that photo online. I'm gonna see if I can.
Yeah, it might be online. Yeah.
How cool, man. Jim, this episode was a blast. Thank you so much for your time today. I know you're down there enjoying sunny Florida, so I'll let you get back to enjoying yourself. Folks, don't forget to look into those tickets for Inside the Ropes. Again, that's going to be in the UK, and then Jim is going to be in Germany. So pay attention to Jim's social media. He's got a new Facebook page, which is incredible.
New Facebook page, Hacksaw Duggan. Thanks to you, we got it up and running. The old one was sabotaged. Somebody took 170,000 followers away from me. But Marcus, boom, we're up to like 60,000 followers since you got me back. So thanks very much, buddy.
Man, of course. I love you guys and appreciate all you've done for me, and I'm happy to make any contribution I can. And folks, I know that you all love Jim Hacksaw as well, so make sure that you follow him there on Facebook. It's at Real Hacksaw Jim. Same thing on Twitter, at Real Hacksaw Jim, and then at WWE Hacksaw Duggan on Instagram. Make sure that you follow him and keep up to date on everything he's doing. And Jim, we'll be back here in a couple weeks to say hi to these folks.
All right, buddy. Well, give me a hole on the way out and say hello to Piper for me. Here we go, brother.
Yes, sir.
Oh! See you, everybody.
Catch you guys next time.